definitely moving towards more and more towards divorce.
And so tell us a little bit now about this brunch mid-December, where I think you said Courtney's overseas, but is it on Facebook or on FaceTime or something?
FaceTime.
And so was there something towards the end of that brunch that you all distinctly regard to May?
It wasn't brunch. It was more like an evening.
I think you called it a gift exchange, right?
Yeah, it was like midday to that evening. But Courtney did say, okay, I want to talk about something. And I kind of rolled my eyes and like, okay, we're going there.
Why do you say that? You had that call out.
It was we thought about just making it light
Hey everyone, sorry, I just was
and happy.
doing all the tech stuff. Glad
And
it's
I
back.
knew
Hey,
at that
Lala.
point it was going to take a turn and
Lala.
become heavier.
Why?
Because talking about her marriage was not fun.
And so what happened?
We just wanted to see where she was, how she was feeling. At that point, she had started going to therapy. Also, as the night progressed, the phone calls from him increased more and more. And he was calling, starting out every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then he was calling every 5 minutes. So here we are talking to Courtney, and we'd have to be like, hold on. And she'd have to say, we're wrapping it up. I'll be home soon. So it's either him or the kids. He was getting the kids to call.
When you say he, talking about Larry?
Larry, yes.
Hey Marie.
Were you doing this FaceTime call on May's phone?
I don't recall.
But you recall phone calls happening?
Yes.
Okay. How frequently were the phone calls?
It increased as the night progressed.
How long were you guys, were the three of you and then Courtney, I guess three of you together that evening?
I want to say we started mid-afternoon or early evening, and then maybe ended 8 or 9.
A couple of hours?
Yeah, a few hours.
Membership
So
has its
this-
benefits.
When we're talking about the time that you had together, are we talking now about what, the middle or the last 15 minutes, the last half hour? What are we talking about?
The end, when we decided to call Courtney towards the end, maybe the second half of the evening, definitely. Yeah, she explained to us that she had started going to therapy, and she really liked this individual, and that he had asked her, let's.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure who you're referring to. You said individual and he. Can you identify the people? It's Larry or the panel therapist or someone else?
Yes, Your Honor. The therapist. She was seeing a therapist that she really liked, and she said he seems to be
Welcome
helping
back
me
in,
and walking
everybody.
me through what I'm going through. And she had explained that the therapist had asked, okay, well, if you take out your finances, you're going to be okay. You have a job. You do well at what you do. And you take out the kids will be okay. They're, they'll learn and accept their new norm. What are you afraid of? What's holding you back from pursuing divorce?
Okay, that's all hearsay. So you can.
I had the same conversation with my therapist, and my ex-husband blamed my therapist for my divorce.
She's setting up why they asked a question of May, which is going to reveal her state of mind at that moment. So I think I'm not offering this for the truth of the matter. I'm offering it for the state of mind of May's friends, who I think May was telling this to, who then formed the question back to May, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not offering it for the truth. I'm offering it for the effect on the listener of May's friends. This is something May was telling, I think, to her friends about her conversation with the therapist.
Continue. And I will not consider it for the truth of the matter.
I agree, Amelia.
Am I correct in understanding that May was explaining to you and Allie and Courtney about this conversation with her therapist?
Correct.
And so, as a result of May telling you this, did you or Courtney or Allie ask the question of May?
I did. I asked her, okay, so what is it? And through tears, she said, I'm afraid that Larry will hurt the kids to hurt me.
Did May, how often have you seen May cry until after?
I don't think I've ever seen May cry up until her marriage woes.
And this particular time that you're describing, what was May's emotional state when she said this to you?
She was crying.
And did you ask what she meant by that statement? Was there any further explanation about what she meant by that?
No, I think we were all surprised. Surprised that it was that drastic.
See, people in these kinds of relationships hide, do a good job hiding it.
I think towards the end of the night, we've had it with the phone calls. So she's like, I gotta go.
Was there further conversation after May made that statement to all of you?
I think amongst ourselves, not with May.
So after May said that, was it quiet? Was there any follow-up questions, or was it just kind of, that was sort of the end of that conversation?
I don't recall exactly. I don't believe that we had further explanation. We were all just shocked that she would say that.
Why? Why were you shocked?
Because it talked about hurting the kids.
Did May talk to you? Well, did May talk to you further about her kids being a factor in her decision to divorce? In other words, to stay or to leave?
Yeah, we like I said, we always just talked about how it would be. She knew she was facing potentially losing the house, paying alimony, paying child support ×3. And we used to just say, you'll make it, you'll be fine. Your happiness is worth it. The kids will be fine.
Would you say that her concern or worry for the kids was a motivating factor in her decision or her thought process as she moved towards divorce?
Yes, it was her number one concern.
All right, about to move into another topic. I don't know. I can keep going.
You know what? It's been pretty intensive. A lot of talking, so we'll take our break now. What was number 3?
All right. They're taking a break. I would go on camera, but I'm a little worried that it will mess up my feed because it's just been so shaky. So I'm going to stay off camera. But unfortunately, we didn't get to hear all of that testimony, you know, to really hear. But what I really was hearing her testify to was that, you know, she was a great mom and she was really worried for the kids, and that essentially she was very worried that he was going to hurt the kids to get to her. And, you know, she was concerned about, she was really ruminating about the divorce. And having gone through a divorce, I am familiar, definitely not this kind of a divorce, definitely nothing, anything like this kind of a divorce. But, you know, when you're going through the motions of thinking about, you've been in a marriage for quite some time and you have kids and you're thinking about, do I do it? Do I not do it? I'm unhappy. You know, does my happiness matter? All that stuff. She was going through all of those ruminations with her friends and talking to them. It was a really strong statement, Amelia. And she's talking to them all the time, and she's, you know, worried. And what that witness said is that her primary worry was about the kids. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what defense counsel does in questioning with this witness, because as I read in the, you know, in the stream this morning, I read that statement by Judith Millete, the Larry's mother. They really tried to paint her as somebody who didn't care about her kids, who was only completely focused on, you know, her career and her having fun and drinking and going out and being with men and dressing sexy. And I mean, I was so appalled by that statement. And so that's basically the defense. The defense is that she just wanted to have a different life, you know. She wanted to have a different life. That's their defense. She wanted to have a different life, and now she's having that different life. But if, you know, if she was having that different life, then they need to prove that she's having that different life. They need to prove that she's out there living that different life. I mean, their allegation, it seems like if they have, you know, and since I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a criminal defense or a prosecutor, it feels like if your affirmative defense is she's still living, that's how we know, you know, that's how I can prove that I didn't kill her, then it's the burden of proof is upon you to prove that she's still living, that she did go out and, you know, to show the plane ticket that she bought to leave, to show the, you know, the new passport that she created for herself, to show, you know, pictures of her in these different places that you think that she is. And my understanding is that the defense isn't planning to put on any witnesses. And the other thing, and I know this isn't focusing on this particular witness that's on the stand right now, but this is a thing I can't get past. Where are Larry's parents? Where were Larry's parents that night? Are they not witnesses to this crime? Do they have some sort of immunity? I mean, I thought they were, do they have some sort of alibi where they were out of the country? Were they, and maybe somebody in the chat knows, because God knows you know, don't catch everything in these cases. But I just can't I can't get beyond where, these parents, at least the mother, is making such, oh, is that true? His parent, because his brother lives in Texas, right? So they were in Texas, were they just there for a short period of time? I mean, I just had never seen that before. I just had never seen that before. Do you, do you know where you saw that? Was that in a report? Is that in one of the police reports or affidavits, or one of the is that in the probable cause? I guess I just missed that. But also, so I guess that would explain why they weren't there that night, and they weren't there when all of Maya's family went back. They were living with a couple and then moved out before the holidays. Huh. But they're living, but then they moved back in when Maya went missing, right? Because I mean, I remember they were, it wasn't long after that. It wasn't long after Maya went missing that they were living there again. Do you have it, Jessica? Do you have any idea when they moved back? Because I I know that, or if that was a planned thing. It seems like they. It's very interesting. Perhaps, yeah, that timing is extremely curious. They were living with the couple and then moved out before, or did they? It just feels like they might have known something, because with all this talk that Larry was doing with Maya's brother about finding somebody to kill this other guy, maybe he was also planning this. Yeah, I'd like to know more about that too. The timing is really, really weird. Supposedly they moved back to help because Maya was missing. It's been a long 2 years. Yeah, it sure has. Wow. Yeah, I just didn't know the details about the movement of his parents. And that's interesting. I guess I'll have to take a note to try to look more into that. you know, I'm not a sleuther. I'm more of an analyst. But I still like to have my facts straight for my analysis. So, which is why I keep coming back to that question. But his parents' absence was confirmed when Maya told her boss she was having childcare issues, right? Then Larry told Maya he would get full custody because Maya would not have childcare. What a mess. Yeah. Wow. Exactly. Because she was having childcare issues, right? In that was in the November timeframe when she was having that conversation with her boss, and she was trying to work from home and take care of her 4-year-old. That was in the November, December timeframe or something. And, I feel for her there. I had I had 2 young children. I was working at Apple, and I had a similar work schedule where the agreement was that I would work from home every other Friday. But when I worked from home every other Friday, I was still expected to be completely on top of it. And I had these two young babies, and it was, and I didn't have any help on that day, and it was insane. Really trying to give them everything the attention it deserved. Mothers sometimes are expected to do too much. I think times are changing now, but mothers are expected to be, bring home the bacon fried up in the pan, never, never, never let you forget you're a man, and be the best mother in the world, and be, you know, uh, fix all relationship issues. I'm not trying to generalize this. It just, it can happen that way. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't trade being a mom for anything in the world. I would, I'd give up anything for being a mom. But it was freaking hard. That was real. Those were difficult times. And at the time, I didn't know I had a mental illness that was cracking down on me either. That was stress related. So, anyway, this is not about me. This is about Maya. And I think it was a very powerful statement that this witness that's on the stand right now is saying, not right now, but is currently testifying, but is on break, that Maya was really worried about what Larry would do to the kids to get to her. He clearly was building up a, Mount Everest size volume of resentment, such resentment against Maya that he wanted to destroy her. And he was slowly isolating and destroying her. He was getting her family against her, convincing them that she was having an affair, that she was a good liar, that she and he was taking advantage of the fact that she was private about their marriage, that she wouldn't gossip with her family about their marriage, that she tried to respect his dignity and their marriage privacy and their marriage issues. I mean, that's what a good person does, right? Doesn't go around complaining and bitching and moaning to everybody about marital issues, so that there's some respect and dignity for the other person. Um, Wonder if Larry sent his parents off so Maya would mess up at the new job, having no childcare. Maybe it's possible. I mean, it seemed like Larry was doing everything in his power to keep her in some certain mode that he wanted her to be in, that she would be completely dependent on him. But I don't know how he thought that was going to work if he destroyed her and he destroyed her ability to have an income. How was he going to have all this stuff? Yeah. And even though my ex-husband and I got divorced, my husband was supportive of my career. So he was a very engaged, very active husband, and we were able to afford childcare. So, and it was hard. So I had other emotional issues with my husband that caused the marriage. And I cannot imagine if I had this, someone like Larry going around in my job causing issues, trying to get me fired, accusing me of having marital affairs. I mean, and also, can you imagine what was his job performance like if he was going around, if he was spending so much time so focused on ruining her life? And it's interesting because I noticed in the declaration that his mother wrote that she said that he was security at the naval base. He was security at the naval base, but I'd seen somebody else say that he was an op, uh, an optometrist, which is basically somebody who makes glasses. Security and making glasses are two major different things. I'm gonna, take the information from his mother more credibly because that's his mother. But so let's say he's security. Let's say he worked security at the naval base. Imagine your security guy is this guy, Larry. Imagine this guy. You think he was if he was texting, calling her various family members 25 times a day, let's see his performance review. He worked in an optometrist office, but he's not an optometrist. Okay. So he didn't do the optometry. He worked at the security. Did he have two or something? I'm super confused about his jobs, but I mean, I know he worked for the Navy and he had done some service. Oh, optician. Sorry. Thank you, Diane. So the optometrist is the one who does the actual exam and makes the prescription for the glasses, and the optician makes the glasses. Thank you. I appreciate that correction. So was he an actual optician? But again, optician and security are two different things, right? So either way, I wouldn't want an optician being this guy. Well, I don't want any kind of career. I don't want to interface with any kind of public career knowing that the guy is spending most of his time trying to ruin his wife's career because he's insecure and can't deal with the fact that she's objectively a better person than him in every way. Right. And what he's trying to do is tear her down and make her a worse person, seem like a worse person than him in every way. It's sad to think that in either career path that he was in, he was also employed by the Navy in that capacity. He had some sort of security clearance working for the Navy. And I know that this is not unusual. We have many people working for, in different parts of the military that have these issues. It's just when you have it sitting right in front of you in a case like this. And I remember when this all first came out that, they both worked at different naval bases. And I remember thinking, well, they probably both have some sort of security clearance. And then found out that she was making more money. I was like, oh gosh, here we go. We have the, who knows what his cultural ideas are, and whether it's shameful for him in his mind for her to be making money. Yes. Didn't Maya have it? Yeah, her grade level was G14, and I think the highest. So it was G14 at the the first place, and then at the place she transferred to, it was a G13, but it was a higher salary, more room to grow. So I don't know how that fits as an optician. The military provides all kinds of services. I mean, I think the military in all its branches provide many, 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 like, it's almost like turnkey services for practically everything that they need. It's a full service type of thing, at least from what I've seen. And it's vast. I know in that San Diego area, it's pretty much, you can't practically go anywhere without seeing some sort of military, base presence. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on cross-examination with this coworker. I mean, she seems to be able to hold her own. She is also very soft-spoken, but she's, very sure in what she's saying, and she seems to very much know her friend. I wonder if they'll also bring up other friends that are, it sounds like they're coming back.
And the witness is on stand. Continue with your direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Timmers, we left off, we were talking about some events in mid-December. Did you see May again in late December?
Yes.
When was that?
It was December 27th for, we had gone out to brunch with our friend Allie. for her
Welcome,
birthday.
Violet.
And was there any discussion at that time about the status of May and the relationship with the defendant?
Yes.
What, if any, was that conversation?
At that point, she seemed like she was moving more and more towards divorce. She was talking about where to find money because she didn't have control of her finances.
Were you aware of how much she made out of her salary?
I knew she was a GS-14 at Swarmick and had taken a GS-13 at Nightwick because she wanted a non-supervisory role to kind of figure out her marriage and spend more time with the kids. It wasn't necessarily a pay decrease. I believe she might have even gotten incentive to come on to Nightwick, but she did take that lower grade per se.
But salary wise was, I mean, she had do you know what her salary was?
It was well over 100K.
Do you happen to know whether or not she made more than the defendant?
Yes, as long as I've known her.
As long as you've known her, she made more money than he did?
I believe so.
And at this particular brunch, December 27th, 2020, was she expressing concern over her ability to access finances?
Yes.
And how did you know that? I mean, how was she expressing that to you?
She had explained, she had expressed that she would need money for a lawyer if it moved towards a divorce, and if she wasn't staying at the house, she would need her own place. And we kind of asked her, are you going to be able to swing that, with having to pay for the house and the kids and all that. I know she had said that her sisters were now willing to help her financially, and that we had told her in that same conversation that to not worry about money, that we got her back.
And how did you and Allie and May pay for the brunch? Were you out at a restaurant?
We were. There was only so many open at that time, but we were able to find one with outdoor seating.
How did you pay for that brunch?
May paid with her credit card, and we gave her cash for our portion and extra. She had told us that she was starting to put a little bit of cash away whenever she could, because she just didn't have any.
Was there anything else that stands out to you about that brunch?
She also said that if she did file, or when she did file for a divorce, she knows all of her valuables will start disappearing one by one, and that she was concerned with what was in the safe. She couldn't, at that point, she hadn't been able to access the safe at all. All the codes had been changed. And she said that if I could just get it open and take a picture of what's in there as proof, that's all I need to do. And we asked her, how are you going to do that? And she said, I don't know. I'm not sure yet, but I need to take a picture because everything in there is going to disappear.
How sad.
Is there anything else about that brunch that you recall?
she took the Jeep that day, and we were all kind of fussing over it, and
How excited was she about that Jeep?
she loved that Jeep. She loved that Jeep. She took it over to
Welcome
my
back,
house when
Lone
she
Wolf.
got it, and she was showing us, my husband, all the bells and whistles on that thing. It was really impressive.
Do you recall when she got it?
I want to say November timeframe, 2020.
So the three of you did you actually go out for a drive in the Jeep or just kind of went?
We intended to. We said, take us around for a ride around the block. But when we hit the parking lot, it was clear that she needed to go. Like she was in a hurry to get home. So I said, next time. She gave Allie a ride home. They live fairly close to each other, and I said, okay, next time. That was the last time I saw her.
Were you aware about a trip to Glamis that she went with her family for New Year's?
She did.
And during that time frame, were you still communicating kind of on a daily basis?
Yes.
Would you say you communicated with her daily personally, or was it mainly through the group thread, or both?
Both. I remember that particular trip. She had told me she was going to the Glamis store, and I said, let me know when you go. We're not going to be able to go, so let me know if there's any good, like, nice gear.
And so between now the brunch, December 28th, and January 7th, 2021, were you communicating then in various methods of communication? So were you texting?
Yes.
Were you Facebook Messenger
Yes.
and Instagram also, or mainly Facebook Messenger and texting?
Don't recall Instagram so much, but definitely Messenger as a group.
Just a side comment, she has the very California vocal fry thing going on.
Do you recall exchanging text messages with May on January 6th, 2021?
Yes, I do.
If you could turn, if it's not too cumbersome, to flip to Exhibit 9 in the binder. And if you can just kind of look through Timbers 9-1 through 9-17 and just tell
Same here, Vi.
when you've had a chance to look through those. And I'll ask you some questions about those exhibits.
Do you all know what I mean by that California vocal fry? It's like, yeah. She said she
Through 9 dash, I'm sorry.
She needed to
Actually,
go.
the last exhibit in that series.
Yeah, I think all of this testimony put together really is building up to looking very bad for Larry. Very, very bad. And again, please let me know if my volume is way off from the court feed, because it's just impossible to know. There goes my vocal fry. It's impossible to know.
This is a lengthy
Sorry.
text message that we exchanged on the 6th. One-on-one.
Was there a question, Cindy?
I had just asked her to look through it and look up when she had had a chance to review them. And I think she just anticipated my question.
Well, there's no question pending, so you can ask the question.
Yes. Do you recognize 9-1 through 9-17 as messages that you and May exchanged on January 6th, 2021?
Yes.
Thank you,
And those-
Raya.
And those began, I think, looking at 9-1, they begin at 10:35 a.m.
Yes.
And as you look through them, does it look like this text exchange was pretty kind of rapid fire text message exchange, as opposed to kind of one text message being sent and then maybe an hour later a response?
Yes.
And was this on text message on cell phone to cell phone, or Facebook Messenger, or Instagram, if you can recall?
It is iMessage.
So cell phone to cell phone.
Yes.
And in that first message, is it initiated, this text exchange, is it initiated by you or by me?
By me.
And, what is the first, what generally is the subject matter of this text message exchange?
She was telling me that Larry was threatening to reopen an investigation that was previously unfounded.
And she had said, I told him I'm no longer interested in trying to make it work.
Correct.
And do 9-1 through 9-17, those were screenshots of messages between the two of you that you provided to our office?
Yes.
And during the course of the conversation,
I'll tell you what, I want her hair.
does May actually indicate that she and Larry are in a very dark place?
Yes.
Looking at 9-4. And then in 9-7 through 9-9, it appears that there's kind of some other messages within your text message string. Can you kind of explain what those are?
She had sent screenshots of conversations. Looks like 3 screenshots that she had with Larry.
Was that something that she would do at times during conversations with you?
Sometimes.
And then looking at 9-14, did she again express some concern about the finances?
Yes, I had asked her if she was able to get the safe open. And she replied, no, I can't open it. And I still don't know how much is in the investments.
And she also referenced calling Derek.
Yes, she had explained to me that she had to call Derek again and give him a heads up. And she was so embarrassed about it.
How important was May's professional reputation to her?
Very important.
Looking at 9-17, there's 2 screenshots, kind of one next to one another. The blue bubble at the top, and it's on the left side of the page. So there's, again, 2 screenshots side by side. Ends with, you'll see the light soon enough. The decision of divorce is the hardest part. Was that your text message?
Yes.
And then her response, I'm really hoping so.
I said, yes, it will. Better days are ahead.
And was that the last messages that you and May exchanged via iMessage on your cell phone?
Yes.
Another
Gosh,
message
that's
and
so
then below
sad.
That it's dated Friday, January 8th, 3:41 p.m. With a photograph. Do you know? Can you tell us what that is?
I had Amazon a present for Lara's birthday. And nowadays Amazon provides a screenshot or a photo whenever they've delivered something. So I took a screenshot of that and I sent it to her and I said, hey girl, you need to check your packages. There's a lot of packages at your door.
And that was January 8th at 3:41 p.m.
Yes.
Did she respond to that text message?
No.
The following day, did you have a group message exchanged with May?
Yes,
And what group was that?
that was with Courtney and Allie.
Did you guys have a name for your text, your Facebook Messenger thread?
Yes, we did.
What was it called?
Work Besties.
Was it actually Work Besties 2.0?
No, 2.0 came after that, I believe.
Came after, so after the January 7th text?
I can't recall. We had potentially started a new one after May disappeared.
Ah, okay. So it was called Work Besties, and that was Allie, you, Courtney, and May.
Yes.
And on January 7th, did you hear from May in that message thread?
Yes.
Could you turn to now to Course Exhibit 10? And if you could do the same that we did with Course Exhibit 9, if you could look through 10-1 through 10-6, and then look up after you've had a chance to review those. Do you recognize those messages, those screenshots depicted in Course Exhibit 10-1 through 10-6?
Yes.
Do you think that you renamed the thread Work Besties 2.0 afterwards, or was that the name of it at the time? If you know.
I can't recall when that was done. I was under the impression that we archived this thread at some point, and maybe by the time we took these screenshots, it had been renamed.
That these are accurate screenshots of the messages that you and Allie and Courtney and May exchanged on January 7th, 2021?
Yes.
And did you provide these to the Chula Vista Police Department or our office?
Yes.
And again, did May initiate this message thread?
Yes.
And looking at 10-1, it appears it was initiated January 7th at 5:47 p.m.
Correct.
Starts out with just argued with Larry, and he said he wants 100 custody of the kids, exclamation point with an emoji.
Yes.
What's that emoji? Or what did you take that emoji to mean?
Which one are you talking about?
I'm sorry, the one after the exclamation point after the word kids.
It's a laughing emoji.
In your discussions with May, would she have given Larry 100% custody of the kids?
Never.
And what did May in these messages convey a particular state of mind with regard to how she was feeling about the marriage the evening of January 7th?
I think at this point it was
Counsel, if this is your statement, I don't think you need to ask the witness what the declarant is thinking.
No, fair. It speaks for itself. I just, for efficiency's sake, I was just going to have her sort of summarize the substance of the messages. And Your Honor, as the fact finder, can obviously read the messages yourself. So I wasn't intending to read all of them. I was just going to have her give a general kind of description of the messages.
That's fine,
But-
just don't ask what the person was thinking.
Fair, okay. In these messages, well, I'll read the first one just to give a sense of the rest of the messages, and we'll go from there. she says, just argued with Larry and he said he wants 100 custody of the kids. With, I think you described it as a crying, laughing emoji. BEC, would you take that to mean because?
Yes.
Because I get mad when I'm working with, and Tristan wants to with me and watch TV while sitting on my lap. Said I don't take care of them anyway, exclamation point. I said, while working, he said other people could do it. WTF. He told my dad not to come this week, doesn't drop off Tristan to his aunt's house like he said he would, won't agree to finding alternate daycare, and somehow me trying to maintain my job is me being a neglectful mother, and he deserves 100 custody. That was the way she started out this message thread.
Yes.
And then during the course of the thread, does she talk about division of assets between the two of them? Looking at 10-2.
Yes.
She, at the top, under Maya, and that's May,
Yes.
she says, and he said he wants the house. I said, fine, buy me out, and then says, quote, how much? Like, seriously? Half of the equity, exclamation point. I think he thinks that he'd be able to use the investments that I don't have access to buy me out. But that would be a way for me to get him to divulge how much is in there. These are all messages that May sent to the group.
Yes.
And then she says, I just talked to another lawyer and I don't think I'll be going with her. She kind of goes down a little bit and says, I need someone who would be understanding and compassionate on both sides, even if Larry gets irrational. Those were messages sent to the group.
Yes.
And then in pink, there's some pink text in the pink bubble. Who's the person in that text bubble?
I believe it would be me because everyone else is in gray.
And so are you kind of just offering support, advice? What's your response to that? You don't have to read it, but just what are you trying to
I basically
say?
said just give him whatever he wants.
And you say, at this point, I would be like, you can have it all except my kids and my sanity.
Correct.
Why did you say that?
Because that was what was most important to her. Like, take it all. Just don't take my kids. And
then she says, I know, today he called me cold-hearted and that he couldn't believe how I'm treating him, like I'm throwing him away like dirt. Those were her continued text messages in that thread.
yes.
And then in 10-4, looks like you respond in the pink bubble, and then there's a couple of other messages down below that. Can you tell who those other messages are from?
The couple messages below are from Courtney.
She's now responding. Courtney's now responding to the thread.
Yes.
Exactly, Liz.
And then in 10-5, kind of some additional messages in gray. Can you kind of walk us through, not necessarily reading them, but who's interjecting in those messages?
Courtney, May thanks us for the support, but she said she's just so tired. And Courtney's basically telling her, don't let him make you feel like that.
I doubt
And
it's the
then,
first time he's hearing this, all Amelia. They have to submit discovery
It looks
before
like
the
there's some
trial or the
conversation
hearing.
about kind of kids and work.
Correct.
And then you send a message that in pink looks like something about COVID and kids.
Correct.
And then January 7th at 7:52 p.m. May sends a response.
Correct. As she responded to Courtney's text from earlier.
And
Violet, the G references,
They
they
were
both were
saying
working for the military and they have rank, pay ranks.
She said, I worry about the kids too.
Classifications.
But yes, so far, it's been mild for the
military
kids,
pay
based
rate,
on what I read online talking about COVID.
and did May communicate with you and your friends at all after this message that she sent January 7th, 2021, at 7:52 p.m.?
No.
Did May ever talk to you about any plans for the future, 2021?
Yes, we were excited that Courtney was coming back, and we had planned to spend all the boys' birthdays and events together. She was trying to talk me into hiking the Grand Canyon for her 40th birthday on the 1st. She also had a trip to Hawaii planned. I can't recall if that was before or after the Grand Canyon. But I had remembered having a side text with the girls, like, are you going to go? And we were like, well, we'll go if it's a girls trip, but if it's a family trip and she's just going to be miserable, we're not going.
What did you mean by that?
That if Larry came along and it was a family trip, that we just didn't want to be part of that.
Did you have a conversation with her about her 40th birthday?
Yes.
You're probably
When
right,
was
Jessica.
her 40th birthday?
On May 1st, 2021.
Did she have plans for that?
Yes, she talked about hiking the Grand Canyon, and I was telling her how I wasn't interested. I said, I'll meet you at the end. But I did end up going for her.
Did she talk about
Aww.
redecorating her house?
Yes. We received our household goods from moving back from Japan late October. And she had said, hey, can you keep some of your boxes for me? My in-laws are moving out and I want to pack things up and redecorate my house the way I want to redecorate my house.
What was your understanding of when her in-laws moved out of the house?
They moved out right before Christmas week, which we thought was strange, but
2020?
yes.
Since, prior to January 7th, 2021, how often did you communicate with May?
Every day.
Have you seen or heard from May Millete since January 7th, 2021?
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no other questions.
Okay, cross-examination.
Thank you, Ian.
Here we go.
Good afternoon, Ms. Simmers.
Afternoon.
When you and May worked at Balboa Hospital, did May and Larry often carpool together?
I don't recall.
And when you left for a job in Japan, where was May working at the time when you left?
At Swarmick.
Before you left for Japan, did you observe Mr. Millete visiting May at Swarmack?
Sometimes.
How often did that happen?
Occasionally.
A study 2020, before you left? Or after you come back? Or after you came back in July?
It's vague, and it is outside the scope of direct. Did you talk about that? Did you ask?
I only asked, I think I asked about, they met at Balboa Hospital. Ms. Timmers and May met at Balboa Hospital.
Okay, these are questions about the defendant visiting her.
I did not ask any questions about that.
Okay, So that's outside the scope, and it appears to be discovery related.
Okay. When did you first find out that Miss Millete was having a problem with her husband?
Early 2020.
Do you recall the month?
No.
When you first heard that she was having marital problems with her husband, what did you understand the essence of that marital problem?
No.
When she sent you those text messages and informed you that she moved out of her house, did she give you a reason why she moved out of the house?
Objection to state the testimony,
Because
because there's no testimony that she sent her text messages telling her that, well, I'll withdraw it. I'll let the witness wants to answer and clarify if there's any clarification to be done.
did you understand the question?
Can you please repeat the question?
Sure. A few months later, you said that May told you she had moved out and was happier.
Yes.
Do you recall that?
Yes.
Yes. And do you know why she moved out of her house?
I believe just to get some space.
What was
Some
your
space.
What was your understanding about space?
That Larry was just becoming overbearing, and she needed space to clear her head, decide what she was
Good
going
word,
to do.
overbearing.
Did she describe to you why Mr. Millete was overbearing?
No, from my understanding, he'd always been like that.
You mean from the time you met Mr. Millete and Miss Millete, he was that way?
Yes.
Asked and answered.
Okay. This, do you consider that's a habit of Mr. Millete?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Did you consider that as Mr. Milete's habit
To be controlling?
of calling and overbearing?
At that time,
Mr.
I'm
Millete,
not sure, Violet.
we do that. On July 2020, during your birthday, you and Miss Millete had a joint birthday party together. Did Larry or Mr. Millete attend your party?
we did not have a birthday in July. I arrived after my birthday in July.
Did you celebrate your birthday together?
No.
Do you remember celebrating your birthday and Miss Milete's birthday when you came back from Japan?
No.
Okay, so you never celebrated your birthday together with Miss Millete?
No, so she's already answered that question.
No, I mean before like the prior years.
Oh, prior years?
Yes.
Objection relevant.
Sustained.
Do you recall a statement you made to the police officers that in July 2020, you came back from Japan, May and you had a joint birthday party together, and Larry was present?
Counsel, can you point to when that statement was allegedly made and to whom?
clean. I mean, it's like Larry wasn't invited to a birthday party, so that means she disappeared, right? Right.
On or about January 19, 2021, you spoke with Officer Vicente. You recall that?
I don't recall the exact date.
It's a long statement, Charter. When I find the location, I will come back to it.
I don't see the relevance of them
Okay.
having had a joint birthday party together prior to 2020.
Well, Larry sees the relevant because he
Okay.
wasn't invited.
When you came back from Japan, did you already know that Miss Millete was having marital problems? Or not?
Yes.
The photographs which you identified earlier, let me just get to them. Seven point four or 7-4.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
identified this photograph as a photograph of your friends on August 20, 2020. Is that right?
Yes.
And this was held in Temecula.
Counsel, I'm not going to have you go through every bit of her testimony that she's testified on in direct, especially photographs. Photograph of them in Temecula, and I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah, and I'm leading to a question. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. And can I ask her?
I understand my concerns.
Yes, I do.
That's your question.
This happened on a Saturday wherein you and your group normally went to have a brunch with wine and alcohol, correct?
I'm sorry. What do you mean by normally?
Did you just have that one time where you met and you didn't follow through with that again?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
Okay. On the weekends, did you meet with Miss Millete and your friends in Temecula and drank wine and alcohol?
I wouldn't say normally or regularly, occasionally.
Can you describe how
Go,
often you
girl.
did that?
Not really.
They overruled the lifestyle issues or
When you describe a party that your group, your friends, and Miss May Millete attended in Allison's residence, do you recall that Miss Millete drank excessively that day?
Not excessively. May was not much of a drinker.
yeah.
Did you recall that she was not able to go home and slept at Allison's house?
No.
misstates facts, not in evidence.
You knew May for a long time. Did you know that May did not take the children to school? And that the grandparents did that task for her?
Mine's relevant. This
It's not relevant.
Read it up, Jack. Right. I don't find it relevant.
It's okay,
I've listened to this witness's testimony, and witness has described some photographs. The gist of her testimony is that May had a very close relationship with her children, that there was a level of communication that consisted of May and her friends, that there was a concern regarding divorce and her being able to support herself, and there's a timeline as to how her relationship deteriorated with the defendant. Right. Those are the issues that have been covered on direct examination, and I don't need to hear information regarding how often she went out drinking or to that extent. So
Yeah.
you listened to the direct examination, and I expect the questions on cross-examination
Yes, Your Honor.
to reflect the questions that were asked on direct. And this is a preliminary hearing, it's not a trial.
I understand, Your Honor. I'm trying my
You don't
best
have
to
say
limit.
anything. I've told you what my concern is. Please follow my direction.
Yeah, Elaine.
Let me direct your attention again to the holes in the door, which is, I believe, I'm sorry.
Ask her about the time that she met up with the guy instead of going to work.
There are two holes in that door, and you testified one of the holes was made by Miss Millete, and the other one was made by Mr. Millete. Is that right?
Objection misstates the testimony.
Sustained.
Can you identify which hole Miss Millete created
Misstates
in the
it.
door?
Objection misstates the testimony and calls for speculation, not foundation.
Sustained.
During that time that when you were talking to Miss Millete in her bedroom, did you hear any complaints from Miss Millete that Mr. Millete hurt her at that time?
Which incident are you referring to?
Did she tell you that Mr. Millete hurt her at that time?
Counsel, your question is big. You need
Okay.
to tell me which date we're talking about. The exhibits in 8-1,
That's one.
they talk about. that-
Yeah, Amelia, that's my understanding that they don't
said
have,
Said she wouldn't stop, that she wouldn't stop.
they aren't calling witnesses, but I don't know for sure.
Anyway, you heard the testimony. If you have a question regarding a certain date, then you should
Okay.
be specific in your question. There's an August 2020 phone call. That appears to be the incident where the witness testified she believed May had locked herself in a room. Are you referring to the August 2020 phone call?
I am looking at the August 12, 2020 photograph 8-2.
And you can ask your question, rephrase it, giving the witness some context as to the date and time and location.
Okay. August 12, 2020, Miss Millete said that Larry blames everything and everyone else. Did you understand what he meant by that?
It was just a statement by May.
Did you understand what she meant by everyone else?
I interpreted it that Larry was the problem and he didn't see that.
Did she verbalize to you why Larry was the problem?
In all of our text conversations, all of her complaints, cumulatively,
This August 12, 2020, did she verbalize to you why Larry was the problem?
and over the phone,
Correct. While you were talking to May on August the 12th, 2020, did she tell you why Larry is the problem?
All right. I don't see the relevance to this question. We can move on.
This is a time frame wherein she's alleging that Mr. Millete was doing all this abusive behavior and controlling behavior. So I'm just trying to understand what the controlling behavior and abusive behavior on August 12, 2020, when in fact the witness said they were trying to have counseling. They were trying to work out their marriage. She said, Miss Millete said, sometimes I still love him. And at this time, August 12th, she's talking about divorce.
Well, the problem, counsel, is this witness, you're asking this witness to speculate as to the thought process and what was going on in Maya's mind. The witness can testify as to Maya's demeanor or statements that were made, but now you're trying to ask her to tell us what Maya was thinking. And that is something that this witness lacks foundation to do. The statements speak for themselves.
On August 12, 2020, based on your discussions with Miss Millete, was it your understanding that at that time she had made up her mind to file for divorce?
no,
When Miss Millete told you that she was not herself, was that part of the confusion and the misunderstanding between her and Mr. Millete?
Objection. They mistakes the testimony.
Sustained relevance.
Like, is Larry trying to
Well,
get
she's saying Mr. Millete, and
confirmation
she's
that
the
she
one
still loved him?
May is the one that's confused. She says, I'm not myself.
If you got the statement into evidence, you may make that argument to court.
Well, isn't it true that Miss Millete told you that Larry broke the door because he was worried about May.
No.
If you look at 8-2,
Mm-hmm.
where it says
Yes.
he broke the door because I won't open it, he said he was worried about me. Miss Millete was saying that to you. He sent that to you.
He said that. He said that.
Right. Doesn't mean it's true. Come on, Elaine. You got nothing. You got
You
nothing.
did not really know the finances of Mr. and Mrs. Millete, right?
Objection relevant.
Sustained.
You got nothing.
When Mr. Millete was knocking on the door of Miss Millete's room, did you hear him say anything violent towards Miss Millete?
No.
Isn't it true that in general you describe Mr. Millete as a typical husband who has a sense of humor? Is that right?
Objection vague as to time.
Sustained. Are you talking about that interview with the Jules, the police department officer? You have to give her more context.
Oh.
She's like,
Well, during the interview on January 19, 2021, you made a statement that overall you were describing Larry, a typical husband who has a sense of humor. Is that
Objection
correct?
improper impeachment. If she's been, this is not inconsistent. It's not inconsistent. Question
I'll
has-
allow it in. It's fine. You can answer. Do you remember, if you need to see the report to refresh your recollection as to your entire statement, you're welcome to do that.
I would agree to that earlier in the marriage.
And that Larry would joke about how Maya was his sugar mama. You remember that?
Yes.
You want to put that on the record?
And in addition, you stated that Mr. Millete or Larry did not have any negative interactions with May. To make those statements, right?
Objection vague as to time.
I'm referring the same statement issued by the witness on January 19, 2021. Right?
You can answer the question. You can cover it on redirect if you need to.
Can you ask again, please?
You made statements on January 19, 2021 that you did not notice any major negative interactions with Larry and Maya.
Yes.
Okay.
When May discovered the subliminal messages, did she express to you that she was damaged by the subliminal messages?
Damage in what sense?
Emotionally, psychologically, mentally?
No, she was just angry about it
And did she tell you why?
because she couldn't believe her husband was doing that to her.
Because it's insane.
At any time during 2020, did May express to you that she was scared of Mr. Millete?
She was just scared of him hurting the children towards the end of the year.
What was your understanding about Mr. Millete going to hurt their children?
That's what she said.
Did she explain what she meant by that?
No, she stated it simply.
Had you known Mr. Millete to hurt their children?
No.
May discuss with you had plans to separate from Mr. Millete. When did she discuss that with you?
I don't recall when it went from separation to divorce exactly.
When she left Mr. Millete in May of 2020 and did not return to their house until June of 2020, were you in touch with May during that period of time?
Yes.
Did you understand why she did not take her children when she left in May of 2020?
Did you ask about that on direct? I'm going to find that question not relevant.
Okay,
It's
that's fine.
discovery related. I think it's been asked and answered, covered on direct.
But she was concerned about locating a place to live. Is that right?
No, I don't think that was her intent at the time.
During 2020, did you help Miss Millette look for a place to live?
No.
Did she tell you she was looking for a place to live?
Yes. I think she was just kind of exploring.
During the time that around December of 2020, when you and your friends and Miss Millette were discussing about her problems in her marriage, Miss Millette said to the group, "I don't think he would hurt me." You remember that?
No.
When you testified regarding May hiding money from Larry, how was May hiding money from Larry?
I don't know.
You recall that you, on January 19, 2021, one of the statements you made to the officers was you met with May and you noticed May hiding money from Larry. May would not pay with a card and she would allow her friends or sister to pay for her or gave her cash. Call that?
Yes.
How many times did May do that to Larry?
Objection, this states the testimony and characterizes the testimony.
That's not hiding money.
That's an answer.
I don't know.
Come on, Elaine.
Did May express to you that she needed to get through the weekend of January the 8th through January the 10th, 2021?
Yes.
What did you understand that to mean?
They had planned a birthday weekend in the mountains for Laura, and she wanted it to be a happy weekend. And she had made her divorce appointment for that following Tuesday after the weekend.
Right, Betty. That just kills me.
On May 5th, 2020, May told you and your other friends that they were trying to work things out and that they were not completely clear. What was your understanding about what May said regarding that? Not completely clear.
Hearsay.
Vague, and I don't know if council's referring to an exhibit or some particular statement.
Sustained, vague.
During a messenger text thread between May, Courtney, Janelle, Nixon, you, and Ali Balcony, when you were talking about hiking the Grand Canyon, she mentioned that Larry and her are trying to work things out. And they're not completely in the clear. Did she elaborate what she meant by that?
Relevance.
Did she share with you whether the counseling was getting better or getting worse or the same?
I know she liked the counseling. She liked the therapist.
Was she getting better or not?
Objection.
Cause for speculation.
Okay.
Sustained.
And this states the testimony.
That seems reasonable, Mary Rose.
About May 7, 2020, May told you and the rest of the friends that you guys gave her some clothes. You recall that?
That doesn't seem relevant.
Okay. Well, on May 5th, 2020, she said they were working things out. And then by May 7th, May said that she was angry at Larry. Do you know the source of why she was angry at Larry?
No.
Your answer's stricken. Question's not relevant. There are operative dates here, and it's around the first week of January, the first full week of January, and Ms. Millete's disappearance and the charges that have been filed. Every little thing that occurred in May.
How embarrassing that the judge needs to remind a lawyer who's been practicing for 31 years this.
Yeah, I
Defense
can I
counsel.
ask this question that in August of 2020, May expressed to you that she was scared of a man that she met while she was jogging or hiking. You recall that one?
No, I don't recall.
When you were discussing the division of assets with May and your friends, did you understand that Larry was being unfair to her in the division of assets?
Objection relevance. As to what this witness thought.
Why is that relevant?
Well, yeah, there is this discussion, extensive discussion, where you have the witness advising May to just give him everything but the children. And if that was in fact true, I believe I wanted to elicit testimony whether May was agreeable with that and there was supposed to be an amicable divorce or not. She ended up calling a lawyer.
I'm going to sustain the objection. At best, you can ask if she harbored any bias against Larry, given how the marriage was dissolving, and bias that she might have to go to her credibility. So if you want to ask about that, it's fine. But I don't want you asking her what she thinks Maya thought.
Were you favoring May's position in this divorce versus Mr. Millete's position?
May was her friend.
I don't believe so. I'm telling her to give him whatever he wants physically. Except obviously the children.
Did she express to you whether that would be something she was considering or agreeable to?
I believe towards the end she was willing to give that.
So sad. It's so sad that one of her last messages to May was better. There are better days ahead.
Did you understand why Miss Millete could not access any of their accounts?
No, I didn't know why or how or
Did you-
when.
Did you believe her when she told you that she did not have access to the accounts?
Objection relevance.
Sustained.
Which shall survive, Your Honor. Just-
Let's go, Elaine.
Was there any time during the December or January, December 2020 and January 2021, did May express to you that she just want to run away?
No, I don't remember.
In December of 2020, isn't it true that May was not having a good relationship with her in-laws?
Relevant.
I don't know.
And she expressed to you that in fact her mother-in-law was mean.
Action relevance.
Sustained.
Yeah, based on that declaration, the mother-in-law is mean.
Did May express to you that she was happy her in-laws were leaving?
Yes.
In addition to that, order
Good
about
one,
December
Beck. Good
7,
one.
2020, May told you that she hates how Larry has the same attitude of her mother.
I'm sorry, same attitude, what?
Her mother, that Larry has the same attitude as her mother, as his mother, I'm sorry.
But is the
Don't
relevance?
recall.
What's the relevance, Bolane?
And in addition, on that same day, May said, Larry is like that, sometimes like her mother. And it's taken her asking for separation for him because of this attitude of her mother.
All right. Seems like it's common hearsay.
Okay, yeah.
Useful hearsay. It is.
Oh.
Hearsay. Sustained.
At the same time you were talking to May 12/7, on December 7, 2020, May told you and the friends that she thinks that all you need to just go away.
Objection vague.
Sustained.
That's the statement she made, John. She told the friends that all we need to do is just go away. She didn't say that?
All right, well, okay. Are you pointing to an exhibit or?
Well, I can show her, Your Honor.
No, we're not going to show her unless she
Okay,
says she
do it.
doesn't remember. You have to lay the proper foundation before you approach the witness
Okay,
to show them the document. All right. So you want to rephrase the question? Give some context.
do you remember that Miss Millete said on December 7, 2020, quote, "I think we all need to just go away," unquote.
You remember that?
Not exactly. Is there an exhibit?
If I show you a document, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay, you can approach and you can show it to her. All right, she's going to show you the exchange that she's been referring to. I want you to read the information, the document silently to yourself. Then you can look up and tell me if that refreshes your recollection.
Can I get a case number on that?
159.
1510,
159.
159?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Hey, approach, Adam.
Yes.
Your Honor, yes.
Recollection.
That's
refreshed.
interesting that
Yes.
competing in mock trial
Answer
could
your question.
prepare you
Yes.
for knowing that.
Answer
That's
your
totally
question.
interesting.
Now that you had the opportunity to look at your written statement, is that true that May?
Objection mischaracterizes what the witness is referring to. It's not a witness statement.
Well, the question's vague, so she's just refreshed the recollection. You need to ask the question in its entirety again.
This did May express to you and the rest that you all just need to go away?
Yes, she does say that.
Thank you.
But May's the only one that went away.
Do you want to retrieve the document now?
Yes, Your Honor. But I
Yes,
want
my
to show,
favorite food.
I want to show
Yeah,
her
I
the
mean,
documents afterwards.
So
No,
many-
wait a minute, counsel.
I know I've many times said to my friends, we just need to get away.
For the statement, you need to ask,
Oh, I know, Your Honor.
you need to
I
lay the
just
proper
tried.
foundation.
Yes, I do. On January 7, 2021, at around noontime, like 12, 11, May was still talking to you and the other friends, and she made a statement, "Sometime soon, I need to get away somewhere without my kids and Larry."
Is that a question?
There's
Did
no-
she say that?
There's nothing wrong with that statement.
I believe so.
Thank you. More questions, Ron?
Redirect.
Yes. Ms. Timmers, do you still have that exhibit in front of you?
No, I do not.
Exhibit of the doc.
Oh, sorry, the document.
No, my bailiff gave back the date stamp 1509, 1510.
Just referring to the statement that was made December 7th, 2020. I think we all need to just go away, ... Was the remainder of that statement, LOL, wish I could just go somewhere and be alone for a couple of days.
A couple of days, yes.
So what was the entire statement?
What you,
We asked her what the entire statement was.
Well, I don't think she would know it verbatim from heart by heart, but
All right, well,
is the
and then
entire statement, I think we all need to just go away, ... LOL, wish I could just go somewhere and be alone for a couple days.
yes,
And what does LOL mean?
laughing out loud. She's joking.
And as a mom and having conversations with your friend who's also a mom with children working, was there ever a time that you and May would joke about wanting to get away?
Sure.
And then you were also asked about a statement made on January 7th around noontime about wanting to get away without kids and Larry. Wasn't then a subsequent statement made, I think I found my law firm, ... Broad Law. They focus on family practice only and not general law firm. They answer my questions and the prices are reasonable and within the price range I've been expecting. My intake appointment is Tuesday next week. Wish me luck, ladies.
good question.
Was that the follow-up statement in the exchange with you and the friends?
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you. No other questions.
Recross.
No questions.
Midwin's the excuse.
Yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am. That concludes your testimony. All right, let's talk about tomorrow.
Yes, Ron.
Ms. Martinez, I understand that you won't be available to start at 9.
Yeah, this is just a case
I
management.
can't read.
I'm sorry, Anna. I do have a case management conference in the morning at 9, and I also have another case management conference in the afternoon at 1:30. I earlier made arrangement for my other lawyer that works in my office, but I was just informed recently that he couldn't make it. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I instructed my office to call the department. So they will get hold.
Don't turn it off. I want to hear what time they're starting.
Notify the court that I have to have a preliminary hearing in the courtroom. They indicated to my office that they would give me priority.
Oh, now I don't know what time they're starting. Oh, man. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to keep watching to see what time they start tomorrow. I can't imagine they'll take the entire day off. I think that was a great witness. I think I pretty much agreed with Jessica all along that, she looked like she, was going to be strong. She was her friend. She looked very professional. She didn't look like a wilting flower. She looked sad. She looked definitely very, very sad. So anyway, it's been a little bit of a long day dealing with all these technical issues. One at 9, the other at 1. Yeah. So yeah, she has a bad morning and afternoon. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but I'll keep looking. And in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Please hit the thumbs up, consider becoming a member. And I do have to say, I really, really appreciate this of my chatters here. You all have been great, really insightful, sharp comments, and very helpful and knowledgeable and polite and respectful, and no, other than a few troll porn bots that came in. I don't know if you guys saw those, but I zapped them pretty quickly. You all have been really great, so I really appreciate that. So I will see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye.